This week on Bros, Bibles, and Beer.
Jeff, you never did tell me about my hemorrhoid. I have no answers. It's so frustrating.
Speaking of no answers, you're at the right podcast.
Hell yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bros, Bibles, and Beer. Welcome. This is a podcast where we have serious conversations about faith and culture without taking ourselves too seriously. I am Andy McCraw, joined by my close friends, Jeff Pearson.
Hola. I have no answers.
And Zach Crater.
Creta, thank you.
And on the ones and twos, producer Dave.
Hello.
Hey, Dave.
That's where Davey switched to your camera. Oh, do you not have a camera?
I don't have a
didn't
camera.
have one out.
I didn't set it up.
Okay.
No, yeah,
I haven't made it there yet.
No, but sun's out, guns out.
People,
Listener, if you were in the room right now, you'd see Dave is wearing a cutoff tee. I used to have one of those when I was in 4th grade, and it said Nike on the front, and it was red, and I felt good about myself when I wore it.
You should.
But I haven't seen that cut since then.
I don't wear Nike anymore just because I don't like to worship other gods. I don't even know what that means. Also, your joggers, man. Those joggers don't leave a lot of room for wiggling, as it were. Those are toit.
I'm sorry to
And they're mid-calf.
distract you.
They're mid-calf. It's like none of your clothes actually fit you.
Makes me feel like a giant.
Well, you look like a jet. There's some shapes. All right, you got your tattoo showing?
It's about
Wow.
Dave
All right,
and his
I know, it is.
his presentation.
Making me blush, guys.
Boys, what are we drinking, though? We do have something tasty tonight. Dave, I feel like you need to explain it to us. Okay, here. We can bring
That's
it on camera. Send it over here. This is Jefferson's Ocean Aged at Sea. Wow.
Went around the world, couple ports. Makes it taste good.
Yeah.
Just has to pass through the ports.
Pass through the ports.
Spend some time around the seaman.
Absorbing various cultures along the way.
That always makes it better.
Yeah. It is really good, though. This is tasty. Thanks for bringing that, Dave.
Anytime.
Delicious.
Thanks for having me.
A delicious cocktail. Actually, it's not a cocktail if it's just neat, is it? It's
Yeah,
just the
I think
spirit.
pretty sure it's just known as cock.
It's just spirit. We're having spirits. Well, thank
All
you. Okay, what's going on, guys? First of all, how's your day?
That's where we're at.
Yeah,
How's
sure.
your day?
How was your day?
That's great.
My day was fantastic.
There it is. That's the perfect answer.
I
All right.
got to hang out with people, got to hang out with my wife, and then I got to hang out with my son, and now I'm hanging out with you guys.
Beautiful.
Did you not work today?
I'm on vacation.
Teacher.
How's for what? What is this vacation? Oh, it's summer.
Are you
That's
ready for the summer?
Yeah. Okay, that's right.
Are you ready for the good times?
So you were up until 3 a.m. watching Netflix.
No, I was asleep at 11. Then I took my 18-year-old daughter to Tijuana to cross CBX and go to Cabo San Lucas. And off she went.
Whoa. All right. It's not every day you do that.
No. I'm questioning my decision making, but I really have no say.
I get it. That's Spanish.
See?
No say.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on in my life today, and it was all good.
That's cool.
And I'm great. We can move on.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
I know. I did all kinds of corporate things today. I got exhausted. I got so exhausted by the corporate things today that I came home and took a nap. That's how corporate-y it was. Sometimes,
Corporate is exhausting.
Sometimes Google be Googling.
Just hearing the word corporate makes me want to go to sleep.
Yeah, it doesn't sound nice when you say it. It's not a pretty word.
If we did the word association game and you said corporate, the first word that comes to mind is whore. Is that bad?
Oh,
I mean, I don't think about it with you. I don't apply that to you usually, but
Yes, you're not a whore.
like corporate? Is that what you mean? Is that what you're
just
trying
corporate.
to say?
No, what do you think of first? Like somebody might think crook, somebody might think wealthy, somebody might think
Cronyism.
cronyism. I just
Yeah.
thought of whore, and I don't know if that's fair, but
All right.
that's where I'm at right now, which
Okay.
is something you guys didn't ask for, and I told you.
I think corporate, I think money. Money. So much boring money. So much boring money, I need to take a nap
It's not always boring.
because of the money.
Because of the money.
Yeah, because of the money. It wasn't boring today. It's just lots of things. Mo money, mo problems. Anyway, we learned some things about some people today. Zach, you were looking around and found some things out via news, Christian news.
Yeah, we got some worship scandals going on. Sean Foyt.
It looks like
you.
You want to Foyt?
Fuke me?
Feucht. You
Foyt.
pronounce it, kids.
Accused of mismanaging millions of ministry revenue. That is great copy right there. Nice alliteration.
Alliteration. Your
Thank
alliteration.
you. Yes, I'm illiterate. And then, of course, we got Michael Tait confesses to cocaine use and inappropriate conduct with men.
Are we just reading headlines, or do we want to talk about
I'm just
any of
telling you,
these?
you guys stop me. Michael
Stop.
Tait.
Go back.
Okay, Sean
Foyt.
Foyt.
There's no...
Shonked. Okay. According to Christianity Today, on a new whistleblower site,
Who is this guy? Who is?
okay. I'm glad you asked, Jeff.
So we can.
You want me to give the quick without you having to read it?
Sure.
Sean Foyt was a guy during COVID. He was leading worship services on beaches around, at least on the West Coast.
Former Bethel worship leader.
Yeah, former Bethel guy, and it was a little bit of like giving a finger to the man. Hey, you can't prevent us, and it seemed at the time like innocent,
A good thing.
and a good thing. Yeah, it seemed positive. Like a lot of people were showing up. They wanted to be involved in it because at the time you couldn't even go to church.
Yeah, time hasn't been fair or hasn't been kind to the narrative of like, nope, everybody can't meet. Nobody can meet outside, especially outside. Like now we pretty much know banning anything outside was a fool's errand.
Yeah.
And so he was right about that. His hunch was correct, and he blew up by taking that bold stand, which is something I think Jeff likes. You like a bold stand. You like a leader that boldly stands.
What did he do?
Okay, you don't want to just like jump on his bandwagon right now?
He just took money.
Come on, I don't know yet.
It's just money.
Christy,
Boring
corporate money.
Corporate money.
I'll read a couple paragraphs just to get us a little context, and then you guys stop me whenever
How
something
old is this
strikes
guy?
you.
Just out of curiosity. 30? 40? 50?
No, he's not 40. He's probably in his 30s.
Young guy.
20s to 30s.
So 5 years ago when he started this,
20s.
young
I'll
guy.
look it up in a minute when one of you starts talking and I have a hand free. For years, in city after city, Christy Gafford would invite Christians to come and pray and worship with Sean Foyt.
Yep.
Thank you. It's time to take back this ground for the kingdom, she wrote on Facebook as Foyt toured state capitals in 23 and 24. She shared a picture of demonstrators waving flags on the Capitol lawn in Salem, Oregon, and a clip of praise dancers twirling in the rotunda of the Austin, Texas State House.
Salem, barely even know him.
Gafford said she saw God on the move through Foyt and his ministry. She served for 8 years leading a local chapter of his Burn 24/7 prayer movement, which, contrary to the naysayers saying their nays, is not
for burn victims.
Yes, or for STIs.
STDs?
Burn 24/7.
It's STI now. That's the proper nomenclature.
Are you serious?
Infection, yeah, because they are infection. Disease was like propaganda to get people to stop having sex. They're not disease. They're treatable infections.
They're natural.
And our parents said disease, so it would scare you straight.
What do you want, a disease?
Well, now if kids don't know math in school, California says you have a disease and we need you to get on drugs. Get on drugs.
It's the reverse.
It can't be an infection.
It used to be just say no. Now it's just say yes.
Adderall.
Yeah.
So this setup of Gafford is key because for 8 years she was leading a local chapter of his Burn 24/7 prayer movement, eventually becoming a national director and a communications director for the organization. But this week, which might have been last week at the time of this, June 3rd. This week, Gafford and 4 other former leaders denounced Foyt, saying they can no longer encourage anyone to partner with him in any ministry capacity and calling for him to be removed from positions of leadership and financial stewardship. They published a report Sunday listing allegations of mismanagement and claiming that the preacher and right-wing protester avoided accountability as his ministry's annual revenue shot up into the millions. So he went Okay, former Bethel worship leader, Let Us Worship events took off during COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you, Andy.
Created some organizations that made millions.
Founded multiple organizations over the year, including Sean Foyt Ministries, Burn 24/7, Let Us Worship, Light a Candle, Hold the Line, and Camp Elah. He ran for Congress. He did run for Congress in California and
Wow.
lost.
That guy's just swinging.
He
for the
led
fences.
worship at the White House under President Trump. I think the first Trump term. No, maybe the second. No, the first Trump term. He was involved with that. And he's doing pop-up worship protests in Boston and Philadelphia. They're very vocal. They're not just like playing worship. It's very politically active in their thrust.
So all of these allegations come down, and it seems like I think it's people who are on the board or like chair of the boards of these various organizations.
Yeah. And if you go to Truth and Freedom Stories, we're not going to read this whole article. You're welcome. But Truth and Freedom Ministry, truthandfreedomstories.com is where they're talking about this stuff. But let's play a guessing game, a money guessing game.
Oh,
In 2019, between 2019 and 2020, without going over, his ministry's revenue jumped from $283,500. So just say 284,000 to what number from 2019 to 2020?
oh, in 1 year,
In 1 year,
he jumps from 280 grand to I'm going to say 2 million.
I'll say 3.75 million.
Ooh, nice.
Dave,
4.2.
and I'm going to say, because I'm reading it, 5.3 million. Dave wins.
Boom.
1 year. That's quite a jump. And, the money isn't all just
That's a
bad
good percentage.
necessarily, but nonprofits. I
Money
think we all know
is-
some people in some nonprofits that are
Profiting.
having
You
some
just
fun.
need to be
yes.
you need to work for them.
They be profiting.
Yeah. Nonprofits are not for profit. They're called nonprofits, but that doesn't mean they don't make money.
The problem
True
was
that.
is that you needed to look at the spelling because it was PROPHET.
So
And he was not a prophet.
the final thing I'll share from the article, unless you guys are dying for more, is because Foy, I cannot do this fucking word.
It's pronounced fjord.
Actually, I think you just pronounced his name correctly on that F-bomb. That's closer.
But because he petitioned the IRS to classify Sean Foyt Ministries and Let Us Worship as churches, the organizations have not released income and expense reports since 2020.
Nice.
We have no idea how much Sean is making. It's no surprise that we're seeing former employees come forward with concerns.
Did they say anything about what he was spending money on?
A jet.
Nice.
He's not keeping track of expenses.
I'm not a millionaire, but there, if I do become one, there will be signs.
Apparently, he hasn't been tracking expenses or keeping receipts, according to the people accusing him.
I wouldn't.
I had a friend in college who did that too. He said he went by the faith accounting system, that he just trusted that there would be money in his checking account every time he went to Taco Bell. Same thing, right?
It's like a bonus.
Yeah.
If it goes
How'd
through,
that
it's a
work out
bonus.
for your friend? I tried that for a minute.
Yeah, most of it worked out for a while.
I did that in faith this morning when I handed my 18-year-old a credit card. I'm like, hey, you might need this to, if they need to put like a $400 whatever hold on the room for, extras. And she contacts me when she got to the place, and she's like, okay. And I told her it was just for emergencies. And she's
Yeah.
like, okay, they're going to do this. And I'm like, how much? And she's like, $400. And I'm like, okay, well, good luck. I don't know if it'll actually go through. So
That credit card is mostly good for breaking into doors, buildings. That's what it's mostly used for.
it
Anything
works.
else there, Zach? Oh, well, actually, should we just pause for a moment? Because I think I
Sure.
defended him 2 episodes ago when you had said something about his questionable.
You could probably see the glint in my eye where
Yeah.
the glint of judgment.
Yeah, you're like, oh, look what happened.
I confess, I don't like people that are just like lead from the front types of a
Yeah.
nonprofit, and it becomes sort of a cult of personality, I think my tinglies always go up, and that's not my wiener.
Okay,
Don't worry about it.
So
Jeff.
what problem do you have with
Speaking of tinglies.
this prophet?
We're 15 minutes in, and Andy's going to the bathroom.
Okay,
That's cool.
What do we have? What problem do we have with him? What problem do you have with the money?
I would just want transparency. I don't have a problem with any.
If there was
Company-
transparency and he took 5.2 million and spread 100,000 to everybody else, are you okay with that?
I would say people should give their money somewhere else.
But he took it, and we don't know what he's going to do with it. Maybe he is going to give it, but ultimately, this is just about transparency for you.
That's the main thing. Yeah. And mostly, I don't care as much about non-Christian nonprofits, although there's plenty of abuse there. And there's plenty of good ones, obviously.
I care about those too. I think
I do too. But when he uses language like God has given us a mandate, and and on the website, 100% of the money you donate will go to funding what we're doing, which means almost nothing.
Jets for Jesus.
Yes.
Jets for Jesus?
Jets for Jesus. That's a good band name. Jets for Jesus.
You should start it.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Even better if it's a non-Christian band, though.
Do you remember when Kenneth Copeland said I can't be flying commercial? Like, I can't be praying amongst all you people. Like, I need to be in a private plane so I can talk to God.
We actually, the three of us need a plane, the Father, the Son,
Three
and the Holy Spirit.
Andy, wouldn't that be Jets for Jesus then?
Jets for Jesus.
If it's not a Christian band?
Well, they don't have to be Spanish.
I'm so lost.
Is it a Latin Catholic band?
I don't know.
They could
Food
still,
for thought.
they could still be English speaking.
Didn't say they couldn't.
I just think it's fun.
Is there a green, white, and red flag on the side of the jet?
Oh man,
No?
it does feel gross
Sure.
when. Maybe this is the question then. How much is too much money to make as a professional Christian?
That's impossible. I don't think there's a number you can put on that.
10 million. Is that okay?
That's okay.
20 million.
Thinking about that
A
jet.
year.
Maybe
$700 million a year.
I
Is
wouldn't.
that okay? You're in your pocket as a Christian, and your job is being a professional Christian.
If you're young,
I think I'm the best professional Christian there is.
I mean, technically we are
Prove it.
professional Christians here.
No, we're not getting paid.
2.5 Christian men.
If you can bring in that amount of money from people, why are they giving that amount of money?
Ooh, have you ever been to a Benny Hinn crusade?
I
It's
haven't,
dirty.
but I've watched it.
Yeah, they're dirty.
I want to go back and watch more
Yeah.
because it's dirty.
So people,
It's righteous gemstones. Exactly.
Dude, I love
yeah,
that.
along the lines of the Benny Hinn stuff, there is a woman that has a broken arm that she never allowed to heal, and so she can literally, it looks totally deformed, and she can force it to be straight. And she has,
Gwenny Hinn.
she, that's slightly more disturbing since we both have Gwens in our
Yeah, I
family.
know. I was searching for another one, but I
No, that
couldn't land
works.
on one.
I guess Benny could be both ways. No. These
I mean,
days, are there rules?
The
Benny-
same can be
Jenny.
said for like professional athletes. Like people like, I can't believe they're getting paid that much. Well, it's kind of the demand. And in church, it's like, well, that's how much people gave. So what's
But is it for that person? I think like Jesus seems pretty specific in where we should put our allegiances.
Real quick, that woman I was talking about, she has been healed at church
Yeah.
through prayer, the power of prayer, and turns out she's been healed multiple times at
Nice.
different churches, and she's making money straightening her arm out, and people think they're getting a miracle. And so
The Lord gives and takes away.
no, it's giving her and giving her and giving
taking
her
it back and gives it and takes it back.
So finish what you're saying. I cut you off. Just I wanted to put a button on that.
Oh, well, yeah.
Jesus says,
I don't think there's any point in scripture where Jesus is like, how much money can you make off of me?
"No,
Go
but
for it. In fact, the reverse is in the temple, he's flipping tables on the people who are making money off of the
yes."
spiritual things.
And you can kind of explain that away of like, well, they were abusing the temple court system, and so they were taking advantage of people in the name of God, and it was like
That's what happens.
You can kind of contextualize that away. For some people, I wouldn't do that. Like, I think that's a real thing to ponder with this. Also, one of the harshest things, especially Christians that live in America, and especially in places like South Orange County, when the rich young ruler comes up to him and is like, hey, I've kept the law, I've done everything what I need to do. What else do I need to do to get in the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus says, sell all you have and give it to the poor. And he was like, well, shit.
Not gonna
I
do
just
that.
imagine him turning around like George Michael in the Bluths in Arrested Development and kicking the stand, and you hear the Christmas time is here again theme song. Just like slowly walks away. Gosh, dang
Yeah.
it.
But is that to point out the fact that he has a love for his money? It's like if you can set that aside.
Yeah. I've heard some I've heard some Christians on the far left theologically, no surprise, that think that nobody should be rich.
But what is rich? So that was my original question. It's like, so at what point do we say you are now rich and it's inappropriate that you're profiting off of Christianity?
It's all relative.
Would you put a cap on it though? Like, forget about what that number is. Would you put a cap on it? Because I don't think I would.
But I know it when I see it.
Yeah, it's like that.
Right.
Was it who was the Supreme Court justice that they were debating whether something was porn or not, and he's like, I
can't define it, but I
can't,
know it when I
don't
see
know
it.
when it's porn, but I just know when it is. Kind of, yeah.
I know when I see it. Like every time I see it, whenever I see it, whenever I'm looking at it, I know.
I know what it is.
Whenever I'm at porn.com.
Whenever I'm looking at it, it's
But you could imagine there's probably people like any extra skin shown would be considered totally inappropriate, and they would consider it porny. Whereas,
yeah, but maybe
to me,
you
I'm
just-
not thrown by boobies or butts in a
Tasteful
porno.
manner.
Just kidding. No, in a movie.
No.
What'd you say, dude?
In a tasteful manner.
There's probably
Yes,
but
if it's
there's
tasteful.
some middle ground agreement. I mean, there are ratings on content,
But
which
that
means
line is
there's
going to
some-
vary, though, depending on the person. Similar to the
maybe-
money.
But to a certain degree, it will vary, but maybe not as broadly as, are you making $100,000 a year, or are you making $100 million a year?
Well, what about all the Nigerian preachers?
Princes,
No, preachers.
same thing.
Whatever.
Oh.
But like are multimillionaires, and their average person donating to them is well below the world poverty line, but they're giving their money, and he's rolling around.
They're giving whatever
I don't
they
think
have,
they're
yeah.
giving the money. I think their email game is strong.
Or both. I mean, they're taken up and they don't have much to give, but I think that's, you're also true. Your half joke was also
But that's
3/4 correct.
I think that's the problem, is that we look at, what does the church exist for? Does the church exist to elevate an individual and make them ridiculously wealthy? Or does it, and if that's where your funds are going, then that definitely means that it's not going to other people who are poor and needy and could use a hand up, which I thought the church was about. I thought that's what the church was supposed to
Yeah. Getting back to biblical, you can't find an example, like you were saying, Andy, of Jesus encouraging people to make money off the kingdom. You can't find an example of like any leader or local pastor.
I want you to get yours,
There's-
saith the Lord.
There's talk about like taking care of your leaders, and basically they're funding them through a place to stay and food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the idea of like funding a ministry where people get wealthy doesn't exist in the Bible. I still won't say it's wrong necessarily, but a lot of it feels gross
I mean, if you have a church that
in our day.
is only run by one individual, and I don't know, it sounds like this, I can't remember his name.
Benny Hinn?
No.
Sean Foyt?
Yes. I think, in that case, you're going to have the balance of power is off. But when you have oversight and you have elders, a board, and everything's in place to keep a balance, then the going in people are a part of having God's kingdom be generous outward, and so as money comes in, they're telling everybody this is what we're doing, and we actually are doing it, and you can go on our website and see that
Transparency.
But without that, I would say you're always going to have trouble. And I say always because the person who's like, nobody needs to really be involved in this, I'll take care of it, I'm like, that already is a red flag. So I can see how things go sideways. Now, how much is too much? I don't think there's a number, but I actually kind of like the idea. But you'll know it when you see it, in that if you were, out in the Midwest and where wealth is not it's not prevalent. Like it's just, or it's not, everybody's not millionaires. And all of a sudden you see the pastor driving around in a Rolls Royce and has a helicopter. You're like,
it feels like
something's wrong.
Yeah. If it stands out head and shoulders above their entire congregation, like the Nigerians that you were describing, Dave, that feels like that's the point where you're like, wait, something's not exactly right here.
The pastor shouldn't be the wealthiest guy in the room.
But shouldn't depend on where the money comes from. Meaning someone writes a book, they get, writes a song, royalties, if it's coming from something they produced.
That's different.
Versus giving.
That's different. But if it's just giving, then yes.
But that would be the transparency part.
I mean, that's business outside of There's
plenty of pastors that are uber rich because of their side projects.
Didn't
politicians?
What's his face from
say the same?
Saddleback? Rick Warren did reverse tithing on his book.
Yeah,
he'd give away 90% and keep 10%,
which is good on him. Also, when you are as loaded as him,
well, and he doesn't take a salary either, so
easier to do.
Or maybe takes $1. I think
he's got stock options. I think in Saddleback Church.
Yeah, it is a pretty good church.
He could go full the other. There's plenty of pastors that go the other way and just take it all, and he's at least giving a lot of it away. And
and that was televangelism. It's like heyday throughout the 80s and early 90s, right? And that's why it kind of blew up and everyone felt gross about it. That was the version that you could see, all the white suits, pressed white suits and private jets. You're like, this does not seem right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Great podcast, guys.
A pastor also needs to be able to justify their actions, and if it doesn't look good, then they need to be able to say, okay, X, Y, and Z. I did take all this money and purchase these things, and it's like, well, is that right? Is that biblical? Do you think you deserve it? And who knows? Maybe somebody comes back and says, yes, I deserve it. I'm the leader of this church, and we brought in a whole lot of money, and I'm preaching, and nowhere does it say that I can't take a chunk of this money. Unless it does, then that's different.
There's one thing
so you'd be okay with that if it just didn't say anything. You'd be okay with if no matter how much they took. If let's say they took 90% of the income for themselves and left the church with 10%, that'd be okay, regardless of how much it was.
Depending on how the church is set up. I mean, ultimately, I think it comes back to don't
worry about how the church is set up. Just like. I'm proposing a preposterous version to be like, does this idea always work? Or is there a point where we're like, ooh, no.
If the pastor's taking 90% of what the money that comes in, I mean, it's
gross.
That's wrong.
What if the Lord told him he should take it?
He's listening to the wrong Lord.
Oh.
No, the Lord tells nobody anything outside of their own filter. And so the way people hear the Lord gets filtered through their own experience and what they want to hear. And sometimes I think people hear from the divine in a good way and it bears good fruit, but I don't, and this puts me at odds with most Christians. I don't think God speaks undistilled and just like subverts or goes around their experience and their cultural context. I think it all gets filtered through your cultural context. Same with the Bible writers.
Yeah.
And one area of complexity to add to the financial context of the rich young ruler, in those days, in certain societies and is different than our society now, where I think a lot of people think of economics as a big bucket. And if Elon Musk has all the billions that he has, therefore other people have less. But that's not how economies at scale today work. Now, there is a bigger separation than it has ever been from the top people making all the money, making most of the money, and then the bottom. There's never been a wider gap. But also, like, the standard of living worldwide overall has never been better on average. So
Poverty is lower, hunger is lower.
so for the rich man, the rich young ruler, if he is super loaded, it's property. It's not like digital assets and dollars and all that stuff. It's property and it's resources. And so literally it would take out of the bucket. There was more of a bucket back then. So for him to keep his hoards would mean, I said hordes, but it could also be whores. You never know. It would mean there is less in the bucket of finances in the area that he is in a way that it's not true today, but that's just kind of my free market capitalism coming out. So it is different. Like
we also may be stretching this story too, because I have heard that the right way to interpret this, it's not about the money thing. It's is there something in your life which you're holding or is preventing you from being the person that Jesus wants you to be?
Yes, that is an interpretation, and
it's a common one.
It is, because we have a lot of rich people that go to church, and we don't want to scare them off. So
okay,
it's like,
that's dismissive.
It's okay. It's okay to be
dismissive of that.
No, I think there's some truth to it. Like if that was literally true for people to get into the kingdom of heaven, which I don't think it is. I'm with you. Like there's ways to interpret it. Like but if it was literally true, that story, every rich Christian's in trouble. Every Christian with any amount of money is in trouble because they're not selling all they have and giving to the poor. Because then the poor would be the rich people, and then they wouldn't get in the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
And then what are they going to do?
Which supports the idea that it's not about, did you make a certain amount of dollars? It is, and by the way, if you held something else dearly, if something else is your idol.
It might not be the money for you. It might be.
It's not. Because that's
Jesus knew it was the money for that guy.
It's the money for that guy. That's the formula. Is not sell everything and give it to the poor, because then technically no one actually ever keeps anything. It just keeps moving around. I always think about this when we had kids. Remember when your kids were like 2 and 3 years old and you'd be at the park and be like, now share, everybody share. And I just imagine this scenario where no kid actually holds the toy. They're just like, share. Oh, here you go. You go. Oh, Jeff, share with Zach. Oh, Zach, share with Dave. Oh, share. Like we're just passing the toy around.
What'd you do at Sally's birthday party? We just passed stuff
we
around.
Just shared it. No one could really enjoy it.
You guys didn't play any games?
Dude, this
no.
is hilarious. I remember being at parties and some lady would tell like one of my children, okay, now share me. Like, no,
That's mine.
that's no, you get out of here.
But I will loan it to you at 20% interest.
That's just like, I don't know. 2 and 3, that wasn't a thing.
I don't know. For you, you probably started early.
Sharing is, I'm like,
I could see 7-year-old
we would have parents,
Jeff making money off the other kids.
We would have parents coming up to like our kids, like, don't you want to share? I'm like, that's not yours. We brought the ball to the park.
Yeah.
Like, take a hike. Or kids just randomly coming up and like just grabbing stuff from our kids. And like, you have my permission to beat the crap out of that kid.
They're sharing.
They're sharing.
Not allowed.
So for the record, none of this podcast isn't accusing. This is all allegedly, and it's a developing story. We're not accusing Sean of anything, but it's worth chewing on. And there's smoke here, it feels like, and
it's coming from enough sources. I read the letter that they posted is the wrong word, but whatever. They submitted a letter. I read it, and it's pretty comprehensive. It's very complete. They have categories. They brought receipts.
Have your lawyers looked over that letter?
Yes, I, as a fake attorney, reviewed it with my fake attorney. Yeah, no, it's.
Well, I hope you will share that with me.
It's thorough enough that you're like, it would be hard to refute. I'm sure he might, but seems like there's a whole lot of smoke
Oh, that's sad.
He's in for the fight of his life.
Yeah, he's. Yeah,
It is a bummer though. It's just I was bummed
it's not going to land well.
when I heard that too. Not only because I lost my point with you, Zach, but because
Wow.
I did like the idea at the time of like someone that was pushing back against the system that felt unjustified, and that he was giving. It seemed like he was giving opportunities to people who were really into it. I didn't know he was making money at the time, by the way. I just thought he was out there strumming for Jesus. Turns out he was not.
Worship in general, big worship, it's big business. And I don't want to take, I'm not like a Marxist or anything. I'm not opposed to people making money, but transparency would be a start. And you know, it says something if he is loaded and sort of knows it's a bad look for what he's doing.
Yeah.
And so he's not transparent. That says something about his character. So we will see.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about the second story that you alluded to?
Cocaine, Christians.
And
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Cocaine, Christians, and DC talk.
Do you guys know who, maybe the C?
Can we
for
play?
cocaine?
Can we play one of their songs? Can we just get one of those going right now?
No,
Great.
Great.
we can't. We're on YouTube.
Can't share that.
If you were to lightly do some singing raps,
Yeah.
we could get away with that for a minute. Do you know it?
No.
What's one of their songs? I'm blanking on that. I used to listen to them as a
Jesus
kid.
freak.
Oh, Jesus Freak, yeah.
Yeah.
For
What
sure.
would people think?
Oh, if I
They
was
knew they knew that I was if they knew I was a Jesus
freak.
Yeah. Now this one gets changed a little bit. What would people think if they knew that I was doing coke with dudes? That's
Decent cocaine talk. That's what the DC stands for. It's decent.
Wow.
Decent Christian talk, which is like DC talk sounds way cooler than
Does it really stand for
I think.
decent
I heard
Christian
it was.
talk?
I always heard it was decent Christian talk, which is like this band is fine. They're all right. Decent.
It's decent.
All right. Michael Tait, former lead singer of Newsboys, dropped a shocker of an Instagram post today.
Yeah. Talk about this. I'm gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it going. Jeff's going on a beer run.
Okay.
He's gonna whet his whistle. It's in the beer fridge.
Admitting to abusing cocaine and forcing himself sexually on other men.
Forcing himself?
I actually have his Instagram post.
Wait, did it say forcing himself? Oh,
Yeah, that was from the Roy's report. But recent report. This is my confession, Michael Tait, June 10th, 2025. It's today the 10th.
yes,
This is breaking news.
Yeah, it is.
today's the 10th.
This is the hottest.
Recent reports of my reckless and destructive behavior, including drug and alcohol abuse and sexual activity, are sadly largely true. For some 2 decades, I used and abused cocaine, consumed far too much alcohol, and at times touched men in an unwanted, sensual way. I'm ashamed of my life choices and actions and make no excuses for them. I will simply call it what God calls it, sin. I don't blame anyone or anything but myself. While I might dispute certain details in the accusations, I do not dispute the substance of them. When I abruptly left Newsboys in January, that I did not know. I'm not up on my Newsboys news. I did so to get help. I was not healthy physically or spiritually and was tired of leading a double life. I spent 6 weeks at a treatment center in Utah, receiving help that may have saved my life from ultimate destruction. I have been clean and sober since, though I still have lots of hard work ahead of me. This is a long post.
That's okay. Seems like we got the gist of it, though. It's impressive that he's willing to be that transparent. He's willing to put that much out there. But I don't know, man. You can't poke at the guy for at least airing all the stuff in public and no longer pretending. But he said it was decades. He's a human, and I get he's living. That was probably a pretty torn life that he was living at the time, and I can imagine how much that eats you up.
Let me get these
Go for it.
two couple last paragraphs because
Do it.
this is better than your average Christian confession.
I have to tell you a third time? Say it.
Even before this recent news became public, I had started on a path to health, healing, and wholeness, thanks to a small circle of clinical health professionals, loving family, caring friends, and wise counselors, all of whom saw my brokenness and surrounded me with love, grace, and prayer. Sin is a terrible thing, taking us where we don't want to go, keeping us longer than we want to stay, and costing us more than we want to pay. I accept the consequences of my sin and am committed to continuing the hard work of repentance and healing, work I will do quietly and privately away from the stage and the spotlight. To the extent my sinful behavior has caused anyone to lose respect or faith or trust in me, I understand, deserve, and accept that. But it crushes me to think that someone would lose or choose not to pursue faith and trust in Jesus because I have been a horrible representative of him, for he alone is ultimately the only hope for any of us. Sorry, Obi-Wan Kenobi. He didn't say that.
Epo.
He didn't. Although, how much cooler would it have been? That was my editorializing.
Well, it's uncomfortable. Like when you're reading it, I feel uncomfortable a little bit just hearing it. But I feel uncomfortable for the guy. But you also feel, I don't know, it's kind of ambivalent, right? So I'd mentioned off before we were talking that I'd heard these things years ago about him, and I had friends who were in Christian music industry, and they were like, "Yeah, this stuff's going on." So until this, my opinion was very different. Until his confession here, it was like, yeah, that dude's not the person he's pretending to be on stage and in public.
When you got that, I mean, DC Talk was the biggest thing in the universe in the Christian music scene for a while, and Newsboys certainly.
Yeah,
for a while.
1996. That was playing on secular radio.
When you got that gravy train rolling, it creates a perverse incentive to sort of look the other way if you're a band member and you kind of know, but don't. There's a little bit of like, don't ask too many questions.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Don't ask, don't tell. Don't upset the apple cart because those apples are worth a lot of money. Not that anyone, like any individual member of the band would probably not say this is about the money, but it's a real, anytime money's involved with the Sean thing, it's like, it is a big incentive to keep that going and you find ways to justifying it.
So is there culpability with the remaining members of DC Talk?
I mean,
Do they all need to have their confessions too?
I saw some statement. I don't have it pulled up, so this is not going to be complete, and it might even be wrong. But assuming it's generally true, where they said they would ask him occasionally about some of his behavior.
Hey, how come you were with that dude in the?
You guys,
what? Why is your nose all
both
white?
your whites were noses. Both your noses were white.
Wow. Wow.
I'm dyslexic.
So does this go back to if you were to parallel comparison with the pastor from years back who had been not dating. He had been taking advantage of the younger girl. Then she grew up and came back and said, hey, he was doing these things to me when I was younger and nobody would listen to her. But it's like, did the elder board know about all of this? Like if they had to have known that there's some accountability to the people who are around. And this is a little different in that it's
No, maybe it's a good analogy. I think it is a good analogy. There's some responsibility of the other band members to be like,
because it's a Christian band.
Yeah,
that's the accountability.
There's
Putting out a
more
message.
responsibility,
Yeah.
you could argue. And like you said, like a lot of board members, when somebody accuses the pastor of something, and let's say you don't know anything about it, you just assume the pastor's good and you like him, and you feel like you're close to him, you're going to defend him first.
Sure.
And because it's going to be earth-shattering for the church or the organization if that guy were to go down. So the incentive is to protect
the 99
until it becomes, ooh, you just flipped that. Wow. That was worth a sip of beer, actually. That was a mic drop worthy of a sip of beer.
Just leave the one.
Leave the
Well, and
one,
there's-
protect the 99.
And there can
Damn
be-
it, Jeff. That's good.
Probably cognitive dissonance as well, too. Like you were alluding to. Like this can't be true.
Right.
It's not real. And this person is somebody else. They can't be somebody else. That I know who they are.
Yeah.
And because if it was true, now all of a sudden I'm like, and now I feel dumb. Now all these like beliefs and
And maybe some of the
perceptions.
behaviors on you because you're supposed to be close to this person and you didn't hold them accountable.
Why
in a
am
way.
I gay and doing coke now?
And the foundation of
That's actually how it works, you know?
all the foundation. It has
You mean I'm not supposed to?
there is a level of expectation for this Christian band that they should be acting a certain way.
Yeah.
They're pushing out in terms of who they are and what they believe in and how they're going to live their lives. And nope, it actually wasn't that. But if somebody had said something, then that whole foundation is ripped away. The money goes away.
Yeah.
The concerts go away. The popularity goes away. And then we never get to the Jesus freak.
So that's the question: who was really hiding all of this stuff
And who was
for
high?
the last 2 decades?
So apparently there were allegations from at least 3 men, each 22 years at the time of their encounters,
Why does this come out now?
who claimed the singer groomed and sexually assaulted them in separate incidents occurring in 2004, 2010, and 2014. There's words like fondling and but when you stepped out, we read his confession, which if you look at the screenshot right there, that's what he posted today on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's better than your average Christian confession.
He doesn't pull any punches. Like he doesn't try to weasel out of anything.
You think he went to AI?
I don't think
maybe.
Chat GTP.
I didn't detect.
Maybe
I didn't see any.
AA.
When you see words like delve, I just need to delve into my healing or unlock.
Is that in there?
That would be AI. No.
Oh, okay.
AI. They always because I use AI for show notes help, and depending on how lazy I am, I'll leave a lot of it, and it's lots of delving into topics.
Write my confession in the style of J.R.R. Tolkien.
Never trust an elf.
So do you have a better opinion of him now that he has done this confession?
I have a different opinion of him.
This after the fact stuff.
Oh,
is-
sorry.
it's
Because I knew this stuff
habitual.
years ago.
Previously.
Yeah. No, this is better. This improves my perception of him because it seems like he's being honest.
After the fact.
Yeah. I mean, that's when we're all honest after the fact.
Right, but that doesn't change. I mean, you now have to defend yourself.
Yeah, but there's plenty of people that would just like
not
be
defending, though.
quiet.
That's the
just-
thing. He's
they'll
not.
go away.
Yeah,
Don't-
but you
don't say
can-
anything.
You can say nothing.
That's what most people do.
and let it go, and just
I mean,
hope.
most is-
Right,
Just hope it doesn't ever come out.
and he's well. It sounds like he did, or they had him come out.
somebody did
Ooh, maybe someone was threatening. Maybe there's some blackmail.
blackmail.
Yeah, we have no idea what's going on behind closed doors or what's been going on, and maybe
Oh, I know.
and maybe that I'm literally, obviously theorizing that they could have been pressured, and he's like not going to do it, and they're like, fine, then we're going to talk. DC talk.
Oh, yeah. Those things can happen too. Either way, like he's putting it out there, and it seemed genuine enough that none of us can know how true that was. But I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine he's leaving stones unturned. Like, hey, don't mention this thing. You don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Although maybe we'll find out about his gambling habit.
Yeah, it does sound like. It sounds like this is going to be ongoing too. I don't know if stuff has been settled with the accusers, but
So, is there a scenario for you guys that he's allowed back in to start doing Christian music ministry?
I think his best. If I were his business manager, I'd be like, okay, just fully come out of the closet and enter the deconstruction solo singer-songwriter space. You'll do pretty well.
Exactly.
You'll do pretty well.
So if that happens, do we think this was just a marketing ploy?
I wouldn't go that far.
You think he'll do space would do well. Why? I don't think it would.
Not like DC Talk. The perverse incentive, I'll just say it because that's technically what it is to continue at some point with DC Talk and Newsboys. Because I don't think...
restoration is kind of what we're getting to, right?
The restoration tour.
I believe that
sounds good.
That's a possibility.
Money, and this time it's not boring.
And it might be bigger. Give it the right time.
Everybody likes the comeback story.
Give it the right time. It might be bigger.
Do you think there's going to be a pray the gay away moment for him?
It kind of sounds like it's already going on. It's like subtly, he sort of alludes to it because he used all of this behavior was sin.
Yeah.
He said that.
Yeah.
Which, if he is gay, that hurts my feelings a little bit on his behalf. I just wish he could be.
Is it because you had his poster up on your door when you were a teenager?
Yeah, I was 33% gay for him. Is that what you're saying, Jeff? Okay, I confessed it. No, that's not true. My heart is reserved for Matthew McConaughey.
Make some comment about a mesh tank top.
Right, Ryan Reynolds.
I don't know. When I see stuff like that, in terms of the apology, is that what that is?
Confession.
Yeah, confession, contrition. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. Like, it's beyond. It's 11 years since your last confession. Now, 11 years since the last time, one of your accusers has said this happened. So,
like, isn't it convenient after you cashed all those checks?
Yeah, we're so far past, right? And
but
now it's I got to deal with this. Gosh darn it!
But he is talking about, like, up until 6 months ago, his alcohol consumption and cocaine habits, and he kind of alluded to inappropriate behavior towards men. That was all in the cards recently.
Yeah, but right, the idea of the falling on the sword in a moment like this is so easy, and oh gosh, I'm so great that you did that. I'm like,
you think maybe he knew it was coming, and so he
probably knows it's been in the works for a long time. He's like, eventually that stuff catches up with you. Somebody's going to come out of the woodwork.
Yeah,
it's no different than as a teacher. Like, if any teacher acts inappropriately, okay, if it's like with some 16-year-old. At some point that kid's going to grow up and be like, that teacher treated me poorly. Like, that it's going to come out at some point. And so, I mean, it was probably pretty difficult to live with.
It's a very specific story, Jeff. Is this that moment?
Wait, are you on vacation or leave? Are you on indefinite leave? Pending an investigation?
You guys are killing me.
How long is this summer vacation?
I mean, ultimately, whether it's a pastor or a teacher or whatever it might be, like these professions that end up coming out in the public because you're working for the public, that has to just eat away at you. So I actually want the story, like I haven't read it and I didn't hear it, but I'm curious is anything in there that this just ate me alive? Like, it was cancerous inside my soul, because because that would be,
more or less, yes.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens with secrets that you're ashamed of, you feel terrible guilt, and you would not want them to see the light of day, which is why we want Jesus. Like, we want all those things to be out in the light. The fact that it's taken so long for someone to come forward, and now they do, and they come, and it's not just one person, it's multiple people. I'm like, that's going to crucify you.
That's why from age 13 to 17 in youth group, I confessed a secret sin every week. Clear my conscience. Don't want that building up. Don't want that monster growing, Jeff, do we?
Sounds like a good
Someone
Catholic.
was listening to a lot of DC talk.
Doing cocaine.
and doing crack cocaine in the
Yeah, you guys all
alleyway.
thought I was talking about masturbation. It was cocaine.
I had no idea what you were talking about. I still don't.
Oh.
Zach, what are we talking about?
Well, masturbation.
It's masturbation.
No, sorry. I miss
Jeff, you're old. It's been a minute. You probably forgot.
it. Yeah.
Let me
forgot
tell you
what?
about masturbation.
you are not. You're going to catch up. I just want you to know. At some
I
point,
know.
you're going to catch up. You're going to catch up to me.
You're
I'm
fine.
only 52.
To the
You're
masturbation
How old
tally.
are you?
46.
Smashed her.
The tally board.
Tally board.
Eventually,
46?
46.
Yeah.
eventually you'll masturbate as much as Jeff has. You'll get there one day.
In 6 years,
In
you're
6
going to
years,
catch up with me.
You'll catch up with him.
I'm just drive for
Keep trying though.
Dude, Andy, you're killing
Keep
me.
secretly sinning.
Stop. Stop. This is ridiculous.
Anyway, so what's the secret you want to tell us, Jeff? What do you want to confess
Well,
right
I
now?
used to hang out with DC Talk.
When you were 22. Sorry, I don't
Oh my
want to
God.
make fun of him. It is. Yeah,
These are
again,
jokes.
it is hard that there. Are, yeah, we're joking because we're uncomfortable, and this makes us not feel uncomfortable anymore.
I affirm what you are saying, Andy.
Yes. I can't imagine though. I'd be curious, like you were alluding to, Jeff. Is he eaten up inside the whole time? Is he just like gets off of tour and is just, sitting in shame, knowing like I've been lying to tens of thousands, if not millions of people.
Right.
I'm living a lie. This is fake. And you're right. There is something to the fact that you're like, okay, so you came out about this now. That's good. I guess better late than never. But at the same time, this seems kind of convenient. You're at the tail end of your career. There's probably not a lot left in it. And so how much more do you have to lose other than a tarnished legacy? I don't know, which
Right.
might mean a lot. Maybe that means a lot to him. I don't know. We're assuming a lot of things, but how about this? All things being equal, better for him to have published this and confessed all this stuff publicly or not
Publish.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
publish?
Shine a light on it.
Yeah, good marketing.
My thoughts exactly.
Hey, Michael, if you need a business manager, Jeff is ready and willing.
Oh, he's got somebody in the works. Believe me, he's coming out with an album. He's coming out with songs.
No, there will be. I would imagine there will be a redemption tour, and there's a cynical part of me that it's easy to poo-poo it, but I think it could be healing and good for the fans. I just wish, like, if he is gay, I just wish he didn't have to hide it, or
He's not gay.
What is he?
He prayed that away.
yeah. Oh my gosh, that reminds me of one of the best clips you'll find on the internet. The guy that says, "I've been delivered. I'm not gay no more. I've been delivered." Turns out, actually, I've seen more recent posts. He's like, "Turns out I'm still gay. I've been gay this whole time." But I think in a moment, I will look
I
it
know,
up. It's
yep.
worth having the audio on that.
Insert it in there. Insert it in.
Because it's this
Insert it.
old school, like, praying against this guy's sexual sin and like trying to get rid of the gay. And
Yeah.
he feels, in the moment, I promise you, he felt like he was delivered.
Except when you hear him say it. It doesn't seem like
That's
it all
terrible.
got. You got
And
rid of
I
it.
don't have, like, there's a lot of Christians that are same sex attracted that feel like God has called them to be celibate because they believe it, acting out on it in a consensual monogamous relationship even would be sinful, and they feel like it's their duty to be celibate, and that's what God's called them to. I got zero issues with that. However, I also have zero issues with people being gay and Christians and out. So, which I know that's a different. We're not going to debate like whether it's
No, we're not.
bad or good, but
It's bad.
I'm probably outside some of the boxes in this room. But
However, according to Dave's outfit tonight,
Yes. Do
why do you think I'm okay with it?
I'm ready to sing YMCA.
Dave looks great.
you have your feelings, Zach?
sun's out, guns out. Well,
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 did you mean to do that?
Back to Huntsville, Alabama.
I have too many bourbons. The
Also have been delivered.
Bakersfield starts coming out. I recently told my coworkers that I have multiple cousins in jail for murder, and
I forget.
And they better watch out.
I forget
I know people.
this fun fact
I
about you.
did forget about this as well.
Yeah, multiple former teammates also in jail for murder.
Wait, teammates?
Yeah, in basketball. Yeah,
Yeah.
former teammates.
That's Bakersfield for you.
Yeah, it's accurate. I don't know why I thought I'd share that.
I don't know. Just, well,
It felt appropriate.
I'm glad
since-
you're coming clean.
Yeah, since we're being transparent. Also, I have
Make
killed
sure
people.
you submit a letter to Zach and I.
I too have murdered people.
Well, as
Retract that.
Dude,
previously
that'd be-
discussed a couple episodes ago.
Gosh.
I can't believe I'm about to say this. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Well, remember we talked about the friends that would help you bury
Yeah,
a
a
body?
couple episodes ago.
This is that moment.
Yeah. All right. Where is?
I still have
Where
blisters.
is he?
That stinking
She?
shovel. You didn't bring me any gloves.
They're in the van.
Well, somebody could have given to me when we were digging holes down by the river.
Are you?
Are you ready?
No, are you okay? Is this good pod? Is the audio alone good enough? You could just clip it in. We'll just do this in post.
I
All
don't
right.
even know what's happening here.
Do it right now, and then we'll just watch it, and you'll sync it up.
Is that a preacher?
Just in case.
You don't need to do that. Just
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay. I would not date a man. I would not tear a purse. I would not put on makeup. I will love on women. I'm not gay no more. I am delivered.
I will love
Women.
I will love,
love how
a women.
He's,
Oh, this is coming natural to you.
he's just cocking his neck and he's like, I don't
wait,
know.
what?
He's cocking his
Oh,
neck.
okay.
Whoa, chef,
Wow.
easy.
There's
wow.
mannerisms. There's just
Also, poor. Maybe next time, listen to what you're.
wait, what?
Word choice.
Oh, believe me, that was.
Intended.
Thank you,
He's the cock of the walk.
Christopher Walken. Tell me about that man, Christopher Walken. Tell me,
He had a watch.
what did he do with that watch?
And he put the watch.
Up his ass. No, I didn't. You finish? What did he
Yeah,
do with
yeah.
that watch?
All right.
okay.
Nah,
All
that's
right.
off. That's right.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Well, that was fun.
Good times.
We can continue to watch you review the internet. Or we could call it a great episode.
We need
It is.
we need a glass
you wanna do some
cage
feedback?
for Zach.
Do we got a little feedback? Let's do a little feedback, and then we'll call it a good
Couple
episode.
feedbacks.
This is good. By the way, Dave,
Yes, sir.
delicious bourbon.
Oh,
That was
glad you
just
enjoy it.
tasty and warming. Oh, it
Dave,
was too much for it. Look,
It was
Jeff couldn't
good.
even handle it.
Dave, if you would cover your body more, that would help me because
That's why I said.
I'm feeling a little,
Oh, stumbling block.
a little.
A little hot under the collar.
Okay,
Well, I'm glad I put the shirt on. I actually was coming with pasties, so
that would have been awful.
and tassels.
He likes a woman.
I would not been able to concentrate.
All right.
We'll just leave it up to the listeners and watchers.
It's okay.
One day I'll be on
we
camera.
should just go
We
straight.
need to make sure we take a picture of
to
Dave
the-
and leave it
Yeah.
for people to see.
That's true. Dave, yeah, we'll clip that up there.
We'll open up the podcast with this moment and a picture of you.
And
Sounds
now,
good.
Zach, what's going on with our comment section?
I forget because that we did some of these, but it
That's
got
okay.
ditched.
That's all right.
It got ditched, and when the episode failed.
Oh, God. Okay. That's all right. Talk about it.
From our Christian nationalism conversation with Carrie on YouTube, the legendary David Millsap. Biblical values included owning other humans as slaves. Leviticus 25, Numbers 21.
Hold on.
Yep.
Let's not just get through it.
Okay. You're better at this. The feedback
I want
stuff.
the-
There was
You want
red and
this?
black, okay, and then there was
Can I-
blue
Drama.
and yellow.
Yeah,
want this?
You can pass it. I don't want to just get through it. I want to honor it.
Okay, you're right.
Okay.
You're better than me, Andy.
Which one did you want me to do? The biblical values?
That was a...
Oh, wow. We got a lot. Dave Millsap. Wow.
Look through those because that one got a lot of comments. People very fired up about the Christian nationalism conversation.
Wait, what? Oh,
There's a
what
lot.
Did that say?
Okay.
It said you just admitted something.
Well, I don't know. Zach's leaving now.
the word
See you,
did.
Zach.
Hey, get a napkin. I've been delivered.
Okay. Biblical values at 3437 from our Christian nationalism debate. Oops, biblical values included owning other humans as slaves. Leviticus 25, Numbers 31. It also included slaughtering animals, stoning adulterers, punishing girls if they don't bleed on their wedding night, Deuteronomy 22nd. I can go on and on about how many ways biblical principles do not align with the American focus on individual freedoms. He might be conflating biblical principles with cultural norms as well, and that's easy to do. That happens a lot. There's conflations in the Bible, and that's why you got to be careful when reading the Bible. But Dave, you know that some of those things are not considered just straight up.
You know
biblical.
you're wrong, Dave.
Yeah, you are conflating the cultural milieu with biblical principles. Next one. 3320 in the episode points out to tribal genocides as humanity left to itself, while ironically missing the large portions of biblical history of exactly that behavior being prescribed by Yahweh. We're too late in the episode to deconstruct that one, but we should talk about later whether or not we feel okay about God prescribing quote unquote genocide.
Oh shoot! Was this me?
This is you.
This man.
Boo Radley said to Jeff.
We did talk about
No,
this.
that episode got
washed
trapped.
away.
Oh, this man has never read a Quran in his life. He couldn't find Quran if his life depended on it.
I was with him for the first half, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Jeff could find a Quran. Let's go around the room. Can Jeff find the Quran?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave.
You have 24 hours to
I
find the
think-
Quran. If you don't find it, your life will be forfeit to the pit of hell. Find yourself a Quran.
Boo Radley also says it's not Christian nationalism. That's just being an American. Everything you stated is standard American values. Literally, no one but you calls this Christian nationalism.
Talking about Carrie.
Christian nationalism is something entirely different. Maybe in a follow-up episode, I think we did kind of have a little bit of that struggle, is that maybe his definition of Christian nationalism is not the most widely accepted.
I think Carrie, I think our guest Carrie might have been unaware of the people that are carrying that banner and their anti-Semitism and focus on white identitarianism that is probably unhealthy. And I know that's not Carrie, which is it's kind of why I was like, I wouldn't call myself that.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the problem. Boo Radley, I love that you are commenting on here, but you need to be more specific. So you need to know names. I'm Andy. This is Jeff. That's Zach. We got Dave here. And the other person on that podcast was Carrie. So when you leave a comment, say who you're talking about, because Boo Radley says, you just admitted to not being a Christian at 5:01 in the episode.
Probably
Jesus
Zach.
would be ashamed. I don't know who he's talking
Probably.
to. It's probably Zach.
Probably Zach.
If I had my iPad, I would look. We'd
What?
do some real time corrections and retractions. That'd be fun.
Dave Millsap to the rescue. I didn't hear that admittance at that time marker. Care to clarify or retract? He says, Dave, he stated that he believed we should help people in need when it was convenient, right before that time marker. Helping people in need when it's convenient is not what Jesus preached.
That's true.
Dave said, Jesus preached to be a good neighbor. Last I checked, the people on the other side of the planet are not our neighbors. He taught us to render what is Caesar's to Caesar, not to try to overthrow Caesar. He said, he came only for the lost sheep of Israel. He said he did not come to bring peace but a sword. And lastly, just in case you wanted to bring up the Samaritan lesson as how a neighbor is defined by Jesus.
Nobody heard that. Nobody
Wow,
heard that.
Jeff's getting some interesting ads.
Stop, you guys.
This episode of Bros, Bibles, and Beer brought to you by Blue Chews.
You would.
When you want to have more babies for the Lord.
My ad would be probably women's pajamas because I've bought.
It's
already been bought, guys.
More funner.
Yeah, I've definitely
Funnerer.
bought stuff off Instagram that was for my lady.
Yeah. For your lady.
Yeah, the not a Christian is a little harsh, but
Not sure who he was talking about, though. And that's the funny part of
Carrie
this podcast.
was talking
it could be
about.
anybody.
Yeah.
I do have that up at 501.
All right, go for it.
Put it on your
Goodness.
mic. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
It's all right, buddy.
Get started with corrections and retractions.
Yes, we can do that.
The ins and outs of what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, right. Like if you're on the overseer board,
Right.
if you know, like
Pause,
I know
pause.
all of the.
There's commercials, which is messing with the time stamp, so it won't work. So who knows how long it is? Could be a minute or two past that.
Good call. That's
All
good.
right.
That's good podcast
Okay.
audio math.
Okay, sorry.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's get out of here. This is great. Guys, it's good to see you again.
Thank you for the feedback, gentlemen and women.
Dave, thank you for hitting the ones and twos. It's good to
Thanks
have
for
you
having me.
producing. I like you in the room. And listeners, leave in the comments whether or not Dave should build us an entire new studio. If you think that'd be a great idea, because we're tucked in here like sardines,
I think it's a great
something
idea.
people haven't eaten in 30 years, then let us
As long
know.
as two people agree, I'll do it.
Where two or more agree,
Where two
Dave
more
will
agree.
build a studio.
That's what I said. The Lord took him to the shed.
Dave, get off the shed.
All right. Hey, this is Bros, Bibles, and Beer. If you liked this episode, please like and subscribe on all of the socials and the YouTubes. And rate or review us. That stuff's great. But if you don't do any of those things, please do one thing and share this episode with one other person, because that, I think, is more important to us than
That one
anything else.
atheist.
Share with that would be fun. See what they think. They might be interested, but also share it with Christians. They might be interested too. So for Zach, Jeff, Dave, I am Andy. This is Bros, Bibles, and Beer. Grace,
Peace.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cha-ching.
Jeff, you never did tell me about my hemorrhoid. I just wanted to get that in.